Hey, what is going on everyone? In this video I'm going to detail a trip that we took to White Mountain. Now White Mountain is notable for a few things. So first of all, it is one of the 14,000 foot peaks in California and is located on the eastern side of the 395 highway along with Death Valley. Another claim to fame is that it plays host to the ancient bristlecone forest, where you're going to find living trees that are like 4,000 years old. And finally, White Mountain is widely considered to be the easiest 14,000 foot peak to get to the top of. If the conditions are right, you can think of it as a 7-mile hike to the top of a 14,000 foot peak. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that this hike is going to be easy. Far from it. Altitude will affect many different people in many different ways. Now, being primarily a bicyclist, we decided to try and ride our bikes to the top. Was it a good idea? To this day, I'm still not sure. The reality is about 75-80% of the time, you will be walking your bicycle. And when you are walking your bicycle, it's not really helping you. That's just another 20-30 pounds that you have to push uphill. And so you're really getting to enjoy the benefits of a bicycle. And by that, I mean like you're covering a lot of ground quickly, about 10% of the time. But I would say that unless you really enjoy bicycling, you're probably better off with a light pair of trail hiking shoes and a day pack. Now, in terms of what kind of bicycle, that can also make a big difference. I chose a pretty light cyclocross bike, and the Hulk and my other buddy chose full suspension mountain bikes, and I think they chose wisely. And the reason I say that is because, yes, my bicycle was about 10 pounds lighter, so it helped a little bit going uphill. But when you're going over like really rough terrain, especially coming down, and there is a lot of really rough terrain, you're much better off with a full suspension mountain bike, for sure. Okay, so at this point, let me do some housekeeping and give you guys and girls an overview of what the trip entails. So this is the 395 highway, and I guess the nearest big town is Bishop. And so off the 395, you kind of climb a winding, twisty asphalt road for about 12 miles or so, something like that. And then at some point, that road will end, and then you're on unpaved, pretty rugged road. And so you're on a rugged, non-paved road for many miles. And so I had seen like passenger cars at the trailhead, so clearly if you have a passenger car you can probably make it by going slow, but I would make sure that you have really like fresh tires, because a lot of people will puncture due to the sharp rocks on that unpaved road. And eventually the unpaved road will end up right at the trailhead. And this is another great thing about White Mountain, is that you don't really have to book reservations months out. You just kind of like drive up right to the trailhead, throw out your tent, and spend the night. Now, I should note that the trailhead is at 12,000 feet, so even if it's like 90 degrees, 100 degrees in the city, it's going to be cold up there. From there really isn't much more to it. It's basically just a long slog to the top of White Mountain. In terms of timing, we did it in like mid-August, and typically like mid-August to maybe early September is probably the best time frame to go in, because by then in a typical year, most if not all the snow should be gone. But every year is going to be a little bit different, so plan accordingly. Okay, so we made it. So we are on top of White Mountain. Always meet great people along the way. This guy is from San Mateo. This is an amazing dog, high energy, Maisie. And then let me get you guys and girls over the edge. So look at this. Pretty amazing, huh? Pretty amazing. I mean, this is supposed to be one of the easiest 14ers to do, but I would not sleep on it. Like 20 2,500 feet of elevation gain over 7 miles is not really, you know, a cakewalk. And that pretty much sums it up. Now, again, I did mention that White Mountain can be pretty straightforward given the right conditions, but really, I don't want to make it sound like it was trivial. Okay, you have to be in good shape. You have to be able to deal with high altitude, and timing can be everything. Not only in terms of like month, but you know, for a year. So we did it in 2022 when the conditions were really benign, and we had like probably 3 years of drought-like conditions prior to our trip. 2023 is going to be completely different. There could be a 50-foot base of snow up at White Mountain, and I do not think it's going to melt at any point in 2023. So assuming that you could even get your car up to 12,000 feet, again with lots of snow, I wouldn't go so far as to say you're going to need mountaineering skills, but you will for sure need mountaineering type gear like ice axes and crampons and such. So anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. As always, I'm grateful for you having dropped in. Get out there, have fun, be safe, and we will see you soon on our next adventure, which should be a rockfish outing out of Redondo Beach.